So we are officially 4 weeks away from the 2024 Chicago Marathon, and that means one thing, and that this week is peak week. So peak week, if you're not aware, is going to be the week of training that comes right before you start tapering into a big race. So it's going to be our biggest week in terms of mileage and intensity that we've had so far over the past 14 weeks, which means it's going to be intense, but then right after this, we're going to start tapering off the mileage, tapering off the intensity in the 3 weeks leading up to the marathon. It's important to remember in a week like this where it's such a big week, you want to feel good, you want to do everything right, and you want to feel great at the end of it, but that's not necessarily the point, right? We've been through 13 weeks of hard training to get up to this point, so your goal shouldn't be to get to today and say, oh, I feel great, my legs are good, I want to go crush it, I can do everything, but your goal is to feel that way going into race day, not going into your week of training. You're supposed to feel tired, you're supposed to feel fatigued, but then still go through and do your workouts anyways. So that being said, let's go through a little bit of what this week entails and what the goals are. So goal this week is going to be 70 miles on the week. It's a little bit of an ambitious goal, but we've had a good couple of weeks leading up to this, hitting 55 and 60 miles. So if I can stay healthy, if I can feel good, 70 miles would be ideal. There's two main things that I always think about when I'm scheduling any week of training, any week of workouts, or any block, and that is I do one workout a week and one long run a week. So this week's workout is going to fall on Tuesday. That's when I do all my workouts. It gives enough separation between the long runs so that I'm not overly fatigued from either of them. But Tuesday, we're going to do a race pace workout. It's going to be 10 miles total. We do 1 mile easy to warm up, 3 miles at marathon pace, which at this point is probably around 6:40 to 6:45 per mile. We do another mile easy, 2 miles marathon pace, 1 mile easy, and finish it with another 2 miles at marathon pace. So we're doing, a total of 7 miles at marathon pace and 3 miles easy throughout this continuous run. It's nothing too hard or too intense speed-wise, but we're just starting to get used to that race pace and do more of that so that we're ready in 4 weeks. So that's our workout. The other main part of any programmed week is going to be your long run. So far, my past couple weeks have been a bunch of 20 and 18 milers, and this week obviously is no different. So Saturday, we're going to be doing a 20-mile long run, similar to our previous long runs, except this one, depending on how we feel, if I feel good and if I feel able to and not overdo it, then I'm going to do a light progression the last 8 miles, probably get down towards that marathon pace a little bit faster, but we'll see how it feels. It's not out of the question. But other than that, we have just a bunch of easy runs this week. Friday, I am going to try and do 2 runs just to split it up so I'm not doing a ton of longer runs. But that is the schedule for this week. And, it's a big week ahead of us, but we're ready for it to get into taper. So it's Tuesday. I just got back from work, but we are about to get started on this workout that I just mentioned. And so it is a race pace workout. Like I said, we got, 7 total miles at race effort. So our goal race time is going to be around 2 hours, 55 minutes. If you didn't see Boston Marathon, they just released their new qualifying times. For the first time in a long time, the qualifying time for my age group is no longer 3 hours, but 2 hours, 55 minutes. That's always been the goal for me, so I'm not too worried about it, but that's going to be the pace and the effort that we're kind of looking for. And in this build, we've done a lot of work at much faster than that pace, and we've done a lot of runs that are much slower than that pace, but we haven't done a whole lot that's right around, 6:40, 6:45, what we're going to need to run. And I was intentionally leaving that towards the last 4 weeks, this week and taper specifically, because generally as you get closer to race day, it's one thing where you want to start trying to simulate the race environment. And this is one way of doing it, just getting your body familiar and knowing what your time, what your goal pace is going to feel like, just so that you know how it feels, that you can do it, that you're a little more confident. Obviously, you're never going to be at the point during training where you say, oh, this is easy, I can do this, no problem. If you're doing that, your goal isn't hard enough. But today is going to be our first time running a race pace workout in the build, and it's coming on peak week, so I'm excited, but we're going to get ready to go, and I'll take you along with me. So we just got back with the workout, just finished it, and it was hot, but it went well. I think if there's one word that describes every marathon pace workout ever, it would be probably scary. I think, no matter what the weather is, I think everybody who's run anything has that feeling when you're running your race pace in your training and you sit there and you think like, holy cow, how am I gonna run this for as long as I need to? For instance, today, like I'm running these paces thinking, oh, this feels good, but then in 3 weeks from now, I'm gonna have to do this for 26 miles. So I think even though it went well, there's always that little bit of like, oh, this is getting serious. But anyways, let's look at some of the splits. So just to explain the workout again, we did 1 mile easy to warm up, 3 miles at marathon pace, 1 mile easy, 2 miles marathon pace, 1 mile easy, 2 miles marathon pace. When I say marathon pace, some people like to do effort, some people like to do pace. I think at this point in training, it's hard to do effort because no matter what you run, you're gonna feel a little fatigued. And so today I went kind of between time and how my legs were feeling. I knew with the heat and just fatigue, my lungs and chest were just gonna feel not good no matter what. So I went mostly on time, but my legs felt strong throughout it, so I think that's also a good sign. Looking at some of the splits, I'll put them up on the screen. For our first 3 mile segment, we went 6:33, 6:29, 6:27, so a little faster than expected pace, but I think it's better to err on the side of a little faster in these workouts versus a little slower, if anything, just to give a little bit of confidence. The first 2 mile split, we did 6:27, 6:26, and last one 6:33, and then opened it up a little bit the last mile with a 6:10, which, at that point, it's not gonna hurt. It's your last mile of 10, so wanted to run a little bit fast. Overall, it went really well. All things considered, with a big week last week and a big week this week, I think it felt great. It's very positive, but I have a couple of recovery days coming up, a lot of mileage, easy mileage, and then I think our next thing is long run on Saturday, but I gotta get some food in me. I'm gonna make dinner, and then I'll catch you on our long run on Saturday.
So, just finished the long run. This is the last big run of the week, and frankly, one of the last big runs of the build. So, got it done, and it actually felt, I think the last 3 weeks of building I've been really happy with. So now we get to ease off the gas a little bit, and yeah, we can kind of start to relax just a little bit for the next 3 weeks. Not too much, but just a little bit. Speaking strictly of this run though, again, it was, I'll put this up on the screen, but 20 miles, 2 hours, 28 minutes, which is 7:27 minute per mile pace. So right on par, a little faster than the last one I did. So, I mean, we're getting somewhere. It's happy with that. Heart rate was a little high, but in terms of splits, I kept it pretty even. I think in the past, I've tried to negative split this too much, starting out around 8:10 pace and going down to like 7 flat, but started out at 7:40, 7:45, then went down to 7:27-ish around there. So I kept it more even. I'm trying to, again, get used to pacing myself for when the actual race comes. But that's our second to last run for the week. The only thing left we have is tomorrow we're going to do a little 6-mile easy run, and that's going to get us to 70 miles to finish off our peak week. And then we get to start our taper. 3 weeks to go.